What's a $6.5 million mindset like driving to a job?
If I work with other guys, other leads, I'll text them like, hey, we're going to have to do this and this. And then when we talk to each other. You're always dealing with stuff that pops up.
I think what's interesting is the system that you've set up is you go straight from your house to the job site.
Most of the time, I'm there at 7:30. It helps a lot because now I can get my scoping done faster. My partner can pick up whatever parts I ordered.
Wait, I thought the salesperson scoped the job.
If I'm going to do ductwork, we have to scope that. Let's say they sell a full split system.
Yeah.
I'll go look at the job, like make sure, okay, their measurement's correct, make a material list of all their stuff, and then have it ordered.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Wisdom of Wrench podcast, otherwise known as the WOW podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Comerford. And boy, do we have a great show today. I know I say that all the time, but this one, come on, it's really special. Why? Well, I'm interviewing a 4-time GOAT Award winner in the area of installation. I'm interviewing someone who has installed over $6 million over in the last 3 years, each year for the last 3 years. And 1 year, by the way, he did $6.5 million. What's special about this individual is, yes, he does over $6.5 million. More often than not, though, he's $1.5 million, $2 million, even $2.5 million ahead of the second place person in the company. It's incredible. At the company he works at, they give away what's called an Ironman Award, and he's been the Ironman, which is the top installation technician, for 10 plus years. He's worked at the company. Next year will be his 20th anniversary. So is he special? Yes, he's special. The general manager of his location said, if we were a football team, he would be my number 1 draft pick. And we had to choose anybody on the team. And we're talking about top salespeople, top service technician. He said, if I had a one pick, it would be Washington Dang. That's big. Because when you think of who the top performers are in an organization, to put that on an installation technician, a lead installation technician, wow, that's saying something. And are they the most important in the company? They're right up there, without a doubt. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our GOAT Award winner this year, 4-time GOAT Award winner, Washington Dang. How are you, my man?
Hi, I'm doing good and happy to be here.
I know you're happy to be here.
So
we talked a little bit before the show, and I said to Washington, Washington, you're like a fish that sees water. You have no idea how amazing you're, a fish that doesn't see water. You go along every day, and you don't even know how great you are, how amazing it is that you're underwater without breathing, right? That you're doing the things that you're doing that are so heroic and very special. So let's get into it. Enough of me talking. Let's switch over to Wash, because I want to hear a little bit about your background, how you got into this field as a lead installation technician. So Wash, why don't you start?
So I grew up in Antioch, honor student.
Antioch, California.
Antioch, California, honor student. I didn't know what I really wanted to do, but I got into UC Davis. I was in school for about 2.5 years. I was just taking classes because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. After about that time, I dropped out because I felt like I was just wasting my time. I went home, helped out my parents' landscaping business for about half a year. And then one summer, our AC went out. So they called a company. They came out, was there probably less than half an hour, and then he got working in. Later on, he talked to me like, hey, you might want to go in this trade. We have to pay him a good amount for not even that much work. So I looked into it, and at that time, a lot of companies wanted guys with experience. I have no experience. So I looked up online and for school, if there's like a school for it. And I found a community college, San Joaquin Delta College in Stockton, offered a AS program for heating and air. So I enrolled and took 2 years and got my AS degree. Afterwards, after I graduated, that's when I started looking at job openings, and I saw a classified ad for the company here. I applied and came on as a peer flow tech because I still have no work experience, but I have, school experience. So as I came on, I was like, did I go in the right business? Because the first day I'm underneath the house, I'm at a section of the house where I'm not close to anybody. I'm freaking out. It's like, oh man, I went to school for this.
Now, you said something I want to just go back on real quick. Pure Flow Tech. For our listeners, what is Pure Flow?
So it's pretty much you're going to be replacing the client's ductwork. And so I'm underneath the house. We're ripping out old ductwork, and then we have to install new ductwork for the client. And I've never been underneath the house. I've never been in the attic. So this is like a new experience for me because, and I'm just got a panic attack for a good few minutes there. Calmed myself down and just kept working and got through it.
Yeah. So Washington brings up a great point about he started as a Pure Flow tech, and that's where all the young installation technicians begin.
Yeah.
And they have to crawl and grind, and we call it Pure Flow so that we get ourselves out of, when I say we, service champions that Washington works for, we call it Pure Flow because we felt like we want to be out of the competition because everybody installs ductwork.
Yeah.
But we have a 13-step Pure Flow process that's different, separates us from our competitors, allows us to be unique, and therefore we can charge a premium for it because it's a premium service that we're giving it. My point is, he came in, worked as a Pure Flow tech, and was wondering what the heck am I doing here?
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, because I thought I was gonna work on the equipment right away, and now I'm underneath the house. So there was during school we were just in classroom. We're never any live work experience at all, like being underneath the house or in the attic. So that was totally different for me.
So now you are working under the house. You're brand new. You're what? You're 23, 24 at this time?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
23, 24. And are you knowing that this is a career? Like, do you want to be an installation technician, a lead installation technician? Or what are your thoughts at that time?
The first time it's a job that I was hoping to get paid good. I just had to work my way up because that was one of my. So after I started doing the ductwork, I see there's also the equipment department, the install department, and that was my goal to get promoted to that side. But working here, at the time we had to move up to a lead Pure Flow tech first, and then after you get that experience, then you can get promoted over to the equipment side afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So you were on that journey.
Yep. It took me about. Oh, sorry.
Good.
Yeah.
Go for it.
It took me about 6 months as an assistant. Then I became a lead for about a year, and then after that, that's when I got promoted over to the install assistants.
Okay. So you had to be coachable, right?
Yeah.
To be able to advance at the levels that you did and getting to where you are today. Tell me about that. Tell me about maybe some of what you had to learn and maybe even some of the mentors that you learned from. and what you learned from them.
Yeah. So when I first started, I was with the lead. I forgot his name. It's been so long, but they showed me how to install ductwork, and it's just as I do it, I get more repetitive, I get faster, and then getting in, I see my lead at the time. I watch him how he handles with the client and stuff, and I pick up on stuff, and then when I became a lead, now I see all that responsibility. But once I got into the equipment side, though, my lead at the time, Salvador, he took his time to really show me how to do the install, especially on the AC. It used to take me all day to do an air conditioner. I got to the point where I can get it done in 2 hours, give or take some, and then after I finish, I can go help him with his side of the job, the furnace side, or anything else on the equipment, because the faster we finish here, we get to go home. Mm-hmm.
So you just said something interesting. So as an assistant, you're taking the air conditioner.
Pretty much most of the time, the lead will work on the furnace because that's a lot more complicated. Air conditioner is a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you're primarily installing split systems.
Yep.
Gas and electric, or
back then it was almost always gas. We hardly ever do any electric. That's only in our area. There's certain sections or development that have electric. Now, though, we're converting over to electric a lot more.
Okay. Obviously, the air conditioner is always electric.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the gas,
yep.
the gas for the furnace.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So, and that is in the form of a heat pump or an electric furnace. What are you doing now mostly?
We still do quite a bit of gas split systems, but we're converting a lot of those gas split systems into heat pump air handler now. And it's more of a challenge because the air handler is always bigger. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's always wires, like you try to see how you can fit it and stuff.
Yeah. So let's go back to the mentor thing.
Okay.
You said Salvador.
Yeah.
Sal. And he was, I know Sal, great guy, great family. He passed away of cancer a number of years ago. He stands out to you as someone that helped you in your journey.
Yeah.
And you said he took your time. He took time with you. Is that what you learned from him? What did you learn from him the most? What were some of the things you learned from him?
Just on the AC, like I'll have some issues. He'll come show me, and then so the next time I could do it myself. At the furnace, he's like, "Hey, work on the gas." So I'll start working, and then he's like, "You have to do it so and so way." And then so as I'm doing it, he's there too, watching me do it, because you could watch somebody to do the job. It'll be harder for you to learn unless you actually do it yourself. And a lot of times that's how I show the guys now, like, okay, here, go ahead and do it. And then that's how you get faster. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
You've had many assistants in your time, right? You've got, and so did you look to model how Sal treated you as an assistant, or tell me about the interactions between you and Sal?
Oh, we joke around, we have fun. He's always listening to music. You know, he always treated me right. So now that I'm in his position now, I treat whoever I work with right. Like if they work hard, I'll pay them good. If like a guy that's gonna be lazy and stuff, you don't want to take that more time for that type of person than the one that's always willing to learn. Mm-hmm. So I was always willing to learn, because if I know that how to do a certain way, then it'll help me with my job.
Yes, that's great. So tell me just briefly little about your family, and you had mentioned you grew up in Antioch, but let's go back to your immediate family.
My parents, they have 5 kids. I'm the second of 3 brothers and 1 sister, and I'm married to my wife Lynn. And we've been together about 15 years now, I think.
When did you get married to Lynn?
After 10 or 12 years.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
I've been
story
with her
there.
for a long time, but I finally got married 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. I think for 10 years I was telling you, Wash, you got to marry this woman. What, are you nuts? Are you nuts, Wash?
But yeah, it's
She's
just
a wonderful lady.
it just took time for us, and yeah, we finally tied it on a few years ago. So yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Lynn and what her role has been in your being able to stay as a top producer, because you were mentioning it to me a little bit before. So I know we're going to get into that.
Okay.
But let's get into your performance and 10 plus years as the top installation lead technician at Service Champions. What is it that keeps Washington sharp? What are some of your success habits? I know it's a very general question, yet I'd love to just kind of share with our listeners what is it that keeps you at the top for 10 plus years?
One of the big motivation is the pay here. If we get it, like we're on a point system, and we have the incentive of finishing jobs. If the faster I can finish a job, the more pay I get. So most of our jobs are one day. We get multi-day jobs too, but there's times, a good amount of times, I can finish those multi-day jobs in one day too. So instead of that job getting spread out more than one day, if I get it down one day, my pay just went up for that day because I was able to finish it. So that's one of the big motivation. It's also there's houses like they have no heat, no AC, just like a wall heater. We're going in and now we're adding everything brand new, like a cut-in, and I get the gratification of once I'm done, they're like so thankful that now they have central heating and air instead of just a wall heater in the hallway.
Yes. Those are oftentimes our happiest clients, the ones that are
That never had that stuff.
transforming from a wall furnace or a gravity furnace, which we don't see a lot of those anymore. But you're right. It's pretty amazing. So the pay is what a lot of the times the pay is what drives you. Getting your hourly wage. I mean, your hourly wage at times, Wash, is astronomical because you finish. You are so efficient, right?
Yeah.
Is it normal? Could you possibly make $70-$80 an hour?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because our paycheck go up and down just depending on jobs, but some paychecks I'm over 70-80 an hour.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I love it. You earn every single dollar, and you also get home at a good time.
Yeah, well, one of my goals every day is to beat traffic. So beating traffic, that means getting done around 2 or earlier. There's times I'm at 12 something on a full split system, but that's not every day. There's days I'm out late, but there's days I'm early. But my average seems to be between 3 and 5, so which is not bad.
3 and 5 o'clock.
Yep.
So you're wrapping up and there's got to be some things, and we're going to get into that. There's got to be some things that you're doing to be able to finish a job between 3 and 5 every day. Because like you said, most of your jobs are one day, right?
Yep.
Furnace, air conditioner, line set, right?
Yeah, all that.
And that's one day. And some days you're doing 2 installs, right? Or helping guys out, or for finishing a 2-day install in one day, I think is what you said.
Yeah. Or like there's days where like the center's busy and I finish and then the office is called like, can you please check in? And there's times some other crews need help or they have an emergency calls like, can you go do this? Because the client right now have no hot water or AC went out. Mm-hmm. There's times like if it's early enough, then yeah, well, I can go out and do that too. But yeah.
Great. So you said, I kind of put the numbers together. You were 23, 24 when you started.
Yeah.
You worked here 20 years. If I do the math, you're You're 44? Is that you're 44?
Yeah, I'm 44 right now.
A lot of people say this is a young man's career. You're in a young man's job. You've defied those odds. Meaning a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I could do this when I'm 20 and 30, but when I get that, 30, 35, I'm going to need to switch over to service." Right? You've clearly shown that, look, you can make a career as a lead installation technician, right?
Yep. So there's actually quite a few guys in my center that's my age or even older that's doing this. As long as you have the mindset of like that you can feel like you can do this job, it is one of the most physical work in the industry. But
how about the most physical? Crawling in attics.
No, for me, the pier flow is the most physical because they're crawling every day. For the install, in my mind, I don't crawl every day, so it's not hard. It's different type of physical, but yeah. But if you feel like you can work and want to make money, you can make a good amount working here. I paid off my house by working here, so yeah. If you want to make a career, you can get paid well and actually buy stuff that you want to.
Okay, so we got to back up on that. You bought a house.
I bought a house
in California. In the San Francisco Bay Area. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I bought it right after the crash, though, in 2011. But it's still, I bought my own house. And that's probably 4 or 5 years after I work here. So I was able to save and put down payment and make payments on my house. It took me about 10 years to pay it off. And now I have no other
You're
bills.
mortgage free.
Yeah, I'm mortgage free.
Unbelievable. As an installation lead technician, paid off your house, no mortgage, just to have the foresight. Like, what was it that made you want to buy your house?
Actually, I didn't even want to buy a house. I was saving for a car. Yeah. My parents were like, "No, you need to get a house. Don't buy the car." And so they went out their way. They look at houses ahead of time and then pick the ones that look good. And then that's when I go with them on the weekend. And after, I think it took about a year and a half of making offers because we're placing bids and people with cash would come in and then outbid me. So it took about a year and a half for me to finally get a house. But yeah, I wouldn't have bought a house back then unless it was all because of my parents. And I thank them for that.
Oh, yeah. What a success story. What a gift that they gave you. That's so great. So 44 years old. How do you take care of your body? Like, what are some of the things that Washington does to take care of himself?
I got hurt over the years working here. My back, you got cuts here. But I think within the last 5-10 years, I've been working almost every day. If there's work, I'll work. I'll work on weekends too. I keep telling my wife, working here is like a workout. You're going up and down stairs every day, or not every day, but most of the days. There's like a job in Berkeley. I counted the steps. It's over 100 steps just to get to the furnace. So every time I go up and down, that's a good amount of steps that day. You do a lot of lifting. You do a lot of carrying, and to me it's like a workout working here.
Yeah, because if we're talking about the big three, we oftentimes talk about got to make sure you're getting the right amount of sleep.
Yeah,
you got to make sure you're eating right, nutrition, and make sure that you're exercising. You're saying the exercise piece, you're getting a ton of that just by the lifting and the moving and is that right?
Yeah. I always tell my wife, if I didn't work in install HVAC, I'll be a fat person working in working in an office. I used to sleep super late because I was into video games a lot back then. I was go play games until 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, go sleep for a couple hours, come back to work. I'm all tired. And then my wife is like, you got to go sleep earlier. So we ended up.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you, Lynn.
Now I sleep around 9 o'clock now and wake up around 4:30, and I have a lot more energy in the morning because now I'm more rested instead of staying up late and get less sleep.
So getting that 7.5 hours, it sounds like,
Yep.
which, minimum 7, love 8, and you're right in that 7.5 hour period, and your body's able to recover after you sleep. How about nutrition? How about does Wash watch what he eats?
I eat a lot of junk food. If it wasn't for my wife, I eat a lot of junk food, fast food and stuff. So she cooked for me. She forced me, here you got to eat your vegetables. Like, I don't want to, but okay, I'll eat it.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for getting it.
So yeah, she's the one that cooks for me, and I always looking out for my nutrition. So
yeah, so sleep, nutrition, exercise, those are the 3 pillars. Sounds like you're getting each one of those, and again, we've got Lynn to thank for 2 out of those 3.
yeah.
So take me through a typical day. What's the process look like? When does your day start? Or when does that install start for Washington? Is it the morning? Is it the night before? When are you mentally preparing for Mrs. Jones's job?
So it'll be the night before because our manager assigned the jobs the night before. I'll go in and look at it, look at the paperwork. If there's photos or videos, I'll look at those. And then there's times I can catch mistakes and stuff. And then I'll let my manager know in the morning to try to get it corrected. Or there's times like, this is not going to be an easy job. I'm going to need more guys than just me and my partner. So I ask them if there's available guys at times the night before before he even set the schedule. Most of the times he can get me help. If not, he's like, oh, this crew going to be done early. They'll give you a call. Because those challenging jobs, if I didn't get the help, I'll be out late or I'll have to come back the next day.
And you're reviewing, you said, pictures from the salesperson?
Yeah, our comfort advisor, which is a salesperson, they fill out all their paperwork and have pictures of the job. And a lot of times I can't scope a good amount of it through that stuff. And then once I get to the job the next day, I can finish the scoping, and then my partner can get whatever else parts I need for the rest of the day.
So you said video. Are they also taking video for you?
Yeah, they'll take pictures of the equipment. If they sell equipment, the furnace, AC, attic, crawl space, and then sometimes they'll do videos of walking us to where the equipments are at, where the access are at, so we know. And then that helps a lot. It helps a lot. The measurements, like we know, like this is not gonna fit. Like they'll sell something, and then I look at the measurement. It's like, okay, I need a shorter coil. The coil that come with this, it's not gonna fit at all. And then I'll talk to my manager, and like he's able to find a shorter one, or find a different solution to make the equipment work.
So you're preparing the night before,
Yeah,
mentally. You're probably going to sleep thinking about the job, thinking
this
about
time, yes.
I mean, and my guess is your mind is always already going to work on how to. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but how to do this efficiently. Any?
Yeah. So at nighttime, there's times if I'm working with other guys, other leads, I'll text them like, "Hey, we're gonna have to do this and this," and then we talk to each other. Because sometimes like, oh yeah, we need to do that too. So it helps by communicating with each other for the job. And then mainly the next day is when stuff always popped up on the job.
Yes.
Like you're ripping out. It's like, oh man, you see the work of the other guys. Like, why did they do this? And now you got to make it right because we can't do it back the same way. Some of the stuff that I see. So it's like you're always dealing with stuff that pops up and try and find solutions.
Yeah. So okay, it's now the morning of.
Yeah.
You're driving to the job site. Tell me about your mindset as you're going to a job site. And I say that because you've probably seen different installation technicians and what their mindsets are. What's a $6.5 million mindset like driving to a job?
If I know the job's gonna be easy, I'm super happy.
Say that again. If what?
If I know the job is gonna be easy, I'm super happy because I know that job is gonna be done early that day. Just from looking at the paperwork, like there's certain areas where we know if we get that job in that house, we're gonna be done 1 o'clock. If it's gonna be a challenging jobs that I have questions about, I usually call this other lead, Rodrigo. We talk a lot on the phone, so I'm telling him about my day, like, hey, I'm gonna be doing this, and then I'll ask questions like, hey, you done this? And we talk, get feedback for each other. Like, oh, I might be able to do that now because of how I talk to him. Like he might have ran into that issue too with that job, like it's similar to it. Mm-hmm. So as I'm driving, I'm thinking about the job for the day.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you arrive at the house, and what do?
So I get to the job, I'll introduce myself, and then I ask the client to show me where the furnace is at, the air conditioner, the electrical panel, thermostat, how to get in the attic if I need to, or go in the crawl space, and explain to them what I'm going to be doing that day. And if I'm collecting payment, I'll let them know if it's going to be by check or credit card, so they can know to have the payment ready at the end of the day. Because there's time before when I started, a lot of times I'll do the paperwork and like, oh, I'm going to collect a check or credit card. Oh, I got to go to the bank and I got to sit and wait. So if I let the client know in the morning, they can take care of that while I'm working. And I don't have to waste time at a day for payment and stuff.
Super important right there. You just said something. Setting expectations right at the onset that you'll be collecting payment. We're going to do a walkthrough. I'm sure you'll tell them that we'll do a walkthrough and then I'll be collecting payment. Doing that up front is what I heard you say, correct?
Yeah. So by doing it up front, that saves the confusion at the end of the day. Like, oh, I thought I was supposed to pay another time. So by them knowing that, if there's any issues, I can take care of that first thing in the morning instead of waiting at the end of the day.
Have you ever been afraid to address the money issue?
No, because our comfort advisor already talked to the client about it. They already know that because they signed the contract, they know how much they're going to pay. I'm just reiterating the same thing again. So now they know that, yeah, I'm supposed to collect today.
So I think what's interesting is the system that you've set up, or that the company has set up, is you go straight from your house to the job site as the lead installer, right? In your own truck.
Yeah. Most of the days, yes. There's times like, oh, it's on the way to the shop. I'll stop by the shop for stuff. But we're supposed to be
most days.
Yeah, 7:30 to 9:30. I try to get there at 7:30.
You get to the house at 7:30. We tell the client at 7:30 or the 7:30 to 9:30 window of arrival. Yeah. You're on the front end of that always.
Yeah.
Correct? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, most of the time I'm there at 7:30, and it helps a lot because now I can get my scoping done faster, and then my partner can pick up whatever parts I ordered. So because he pick up the equipment in the morning, and if I need him to go somewhere else to some of our other vendors for materials, I'll have him stop by before he comes out. There's always days where like stuff pop up where I need other stuff, but I try to get most of that stuff in the morning, so then everything will be on the truck for me to finish the job that day. So you said something.
scoping. Wait, I thought the salesperson scoped the job. And I thought the salesperson sent you videos of the job. But what do you mean you go and scope the job?
So
What does that mean?
let's say they sell, the equipment, a full split system.
Yeah.
I'll go look at the job, like make sure, okay, their measurement's correct. And then same with the AC. I'll walk out there. Do I need anything extra besides what's on my truck? Do I have everything to do that job right there? A lot of times the equipment, if sometimes they measure wrong, and then I get there like, yeah, you're right. This closet door is too small for my new unit. And then now I got to deal with that issue. If I'm going to do ductwork and they sell ductwork with the job, we have to scope that because the sales guy not going to be able to crawl to every duct underneath the house to map out how they're going to run the ductwork. So I need to scope it, make a material list of all the stuff, and then have it ordered to be able to get it done that day.
So you come up with this material list or things that maybe come up in addition to a standard install, right? You call into the office, you give them that stuff, and then your assistant, your assistant has gone directly to the job site, or do they go to the office?
No, they go to the office. They restock the truck, they clean out the truck, and then most of the time our vendor is close by, so we go pick up the equipment for the day, and then if there's other materials, they'll pick that up. A lot of times when we're doing ductwork, though, we don't have all that stock at our shop, so we have to make a list because we don't know what's needed for every job. Every job's going to be different. Some jobs might need more, some might need less, but all that has to get scoped that day when we're there.
And you said restocking the truck. Are you guys using kits, or are you using restocking your truck? How does that work?
So our truck, we have kits for furnace and ACs that comes in bins, and then we fill out what we use each day, and then we bring it back to our shop. We drop it off and grab a new kit for that day, and then there's also a replenishment sheet. We fill out stuff that we use off of the truck, so then that can get put back on again. So now our stock is full for the next day again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I just want to reiterate, did I say that you've done over $6 million for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
So I look at installation technicians very similar to offensive linemen for football teams. They are probably the most valuable position, yet they don't get a lot of fanfare. They're not like the salesperson who I relate to be like a wide receiver or the quarterback or whatever that, they score the long bomb. But the offensive linemen, they're grinders, right? Without them though, nothing happens on the field.
Yeah, pretty much the salesperson can sell whatever they want, but if the install doesn't do it right, the client's not going to be happy.
Yeah. That's why Mark said he would be my number one pick. Mark would pick an offensive lineman as the number one pick on his football team. If it was you, of course. If it was you. So the end of the install process. So you go through your day, right? Your assistant shows up. You direct them to go outside to the condenser, typically. The assistant is
end of the day?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I said end of day, but I want to go back because
beginning of the day. Right?
Yeah, I'm not ready to get to the end of the day. I jumped ahead of myself. Thank you, Wash.
So because I get there first, I pump down the unit and then start disconnecting the furnace and the AC. A lot of times, by the time he get there, it's already disconnected, and then. With my partner for the last 10 years now has been my younger brother. So we know already where if the AC is easy, he's going to be working inside with me at the furnace to get that set up. So so we can get that done faster because the AC won't take long. So he'll help prep my furnace, or he'll help inside, and we get it to a point where like, okay, I'm good. And then he'll go finish the AC and then come back and help me too.
Okay, so you said something, continuity.
Yeah.
You've had the same installation technician assistant for 10 years. Right?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was getting a new assistant probably every other year. And then my brother wanted to go into the trade too. So he started, and I pretty much became his lead right away. Like I trained him up, and he got to a point where like I know what he does and he knows what I do. So we were like, okay, you're working on this. Okay, I'll work on something else. I don't have to tell him. He just go do it. Because both of us, we want to go home early.
For sure.
Yeah.
So tell me, because there's a couple of different trains of thought there. We need to change up our leads, and they need to work with different assistants, or continuity, working with the same assistant.
So yeah, if you're comfortable with your partner, you guys can get the job done a lot easier than like you getting a new guy is like, oh man, I got to do all this. Now I got to go help him too. Because I remember when I was getting a new partner every other year, I'm spending more time having to train, to check up, and it will take longer. But now with if you're comfortable with your partner and you trust his work, you guys can get jobs a lot done quicker and correct too.
Well, interesting. Let's stay on this assistant. Yeah. About 5-6 years ago, you may remember this. You, myself, and Rodrigo were in a room, and we were developing the installation assistant training program that now they use at Service Champions at in the university. And what I was blown away by, and I'd love you to speak on about this a little bit, is some of the very basic things you wanted to make sure installation technicians learned right out of the gate. Like, what are the parts? The names of the parts. The tools that they use. What are the tools? I was blown away because you were like, no, wait, let's not even talk about how to teach them the refrigerants and the theory of refrigerants, or how to measure pressure. Want to share with that? Like, because you and I built out with Rodrigo, we built out the very first training class for these young installation technicians.
One of the big things that you really need is tools. Working and install. You for me, I have so many tools now. My partner has so many tools now. For our thinking is, if that tool is gonna save us time, we're gonna spend money and buy it. If instead of using a tool that's not designed for that and make it work, it might take you longer to do. There's a tool right here that's gonna make it so much easier. It's gonna save you time. So both of us, if we see a tool that will help us, we both buy it.
So, and these are your own hand tools?
Yeah, we purchase our own tools.
Correct.
So we damage it, we gotta replace it.
Yeah. So yeah, great. And I think you shared with me when we were going through that process. Now it just hit me that there's nothing more annoying than a young installation technician that has to use your tools. Yeah.
So if the worker that you're working with doesn't have any tools, you gotta lend them yours. But then now when you reach your bag, oh, I need that. Now you gotta walk out and get it. So it's important that they should have the tool that they use the most. You don't have to buy everything. Just buy the ones the few that you use the most, and then slowly add on to it. You don't have to buy it all at once. So like if you gotta borrow something for more than a day or two, that's something you're gonna need to buy. If it's once in a while, you can hold off until you have the funds, then you can buy that later. So you always try to I try not to borrow tools.
Yeah.
If I don't have to borrow tools, that'd be great. But if I have to borrow more than once, then yeah, I'm gonna have to buy it then.
Yeah, I mean, what does it show you if you've got an installation assistant that's unwilling to buy their own tools? How committed are they?
So since I've been there, the guys that are the new assistants that come on buy the tools, they're good. The ones that keep like just bare minimum, they're just there and they don't really care as much as the one that buy their tool. Because I noticed quite a few of the newer guys like, oh man, this guy got all his tools right. That's cool. Like,
and are you watching out for that? Like,
yeah, no, like we see it in our shop. Like this, these newer assistants, like they have their tools, and the ones that do are actually the hardest workers.
Isn't that amazing? You said something. You said there's the ones that care,
yeah,
and the ones that are willing to make a commitment.
They're the best
to their craft,
workers here, yep,
to their trade, and they probably stand out like a sore thumb. The ones that are going along and flailing, and they've yet to buy their own tools. And did you coach them up on that?
No, the ones that don't, like, hey, I keep in mind, like, hey, you should buy so and so. You don't have to buy everything, because other guys don't want to keep borrowing, letting out tools, because sometimes you have to go ask for it back because they'll forget to give it back to you, and now the next day you're not working them. You don't have your tools because it's in there the other guy's truck. Mm-hmm. So like, you borrow something, make sure you give it back, and if you damage it, you need to replace it, because or else next time that tech won't let you borrow again,
Pretty basic.
Yeah.
Yet critically important for a young technician, a young installation assistant getting into this industry. Get the right tools and I heard you say this, get the right tools that saves you time. Yep. If it saves you time, spend money and buy it.
So when I first started, I bought the cheapest tool because that's what I can afford. Over time, I learned the cheapest tool is not the best tool for you, because it's just harder to work with. There's a whole bunch of different brands. Pick one and stick with it, because that will help you out a lot compared to going with the cheaper stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, end of install process. Okay, so I got to lead into this, because what I need our listeners to understand is this is a $6 million man, 3 years in a row. 6.5 was the top year. Always at the top for what we call success rate when it comes on the install side, meaning go backs, like your success rate. What percentage of the time did Washington install a job where there was no go back needed? Is it 90%, 95%? And you're in those ranges, Wash. So there's clearly something you're doing at the end of your install process to make sure that there's clear understanding on the part of the client. Would you share what that is?
So after every job, I'll look over my work. If I see something that, is the inspector going to call me on this? Should I risk it or not? A lot of times, if I can fix it, I'll do it then, because if not, there's a good chance I might get called for it. So now I got to go back and fix it, or somebody have to come back and fix it. I'll take a look at the AC if I see any issues over there too. Same thing, like, do I want to risk it or not? So a lot of times you're just looking over your work. Even as you're working, you're like, should I install it this way or should I do it this way? It might take a little bit longer this way, but most likely I won't get called if I do it the correct way. So I always have to look over my work. And then the other thing is explain the thermostat. Some of this, we go to some older clients' house where our new thermostat is just it's just too complicated for them. You got to take your time to explain to them. There's times I'll even tell them, can you take your phone and record me explain to you? So at if you have questions, you can watch the video again that I show you how to use it. And then if you still need somebody to come back out, you can call the office. But then at least they have a video of me walking over how to use that thermostat already.
Yeah. And so I love what you just said about videoing, have the client video you programming their thermostat or operating their thermostat. Do you ever have the client show you how to use the thermostat?
Oh, so I show the client how to use it, and then I ask them, can you start turning it on and off yourself? So then they can actually touch it, and it's just the more they do it, the more comfortable they get with it, and then yeah. But there are clients who are like, okay, we can't put this one, but we have to install the simplest one.
Yes,
our easy reader thermostat, where some of the older clients, they don't want that digital stuff, they just want something basic. And that would help them a lot. So like, yeah, I like that, but that's too much. Like, I don't want the phone thing. I don't have no internet.
Yeah. And do you like to know what your success rate is on the install side? Like, do you want to know where your go-backs were? And like, how important is that for you?
So we have in our training meetings, I think at least once a month, my manager will go over the callback for the whole
department,
the center. And then we get to see what other guys get called on. And then I make a note of like, oh, that city's calling this, so now I got to start doing that. Yes, I want to know my success rate because it's also tied to my bonus too. So that's
your
why
success rate is tied to your bonus. So you get paid a bonus on a quarterly basis?
Yeah, so on a quarterly basis, my revenue installed, and then I get a success rate. If I'm at like 90%, I get 90% of that bonus. So it's always an incentive for me to keep it up higher because then my bonus would be higher.
Yeah, and you want to know. You want to know. Yeah, I would want to know as well. Tell me about relationships with people outside the install team. You mentioned Rodrigo and the importance of having somebody inside the install team that you can communicate to, and tough jobs that you're going across and things that he's seen that, you know, he can maybe help you with. But what about the relationship with the salespeople? Is that important? Or why is that important?
It's important because you're going to be doing their job. Like, you want to know what they say to a client. So a lot of times I'm comfortable with all of them where I'll just call them. Like, it's easier for me to call them directly than call my manager and then have my manager call them and then call me back. It's easier to talk to them like, hey, I see this. Can I do this? And then a lot of times they're able to answer my question over the phone. There's some of them even call me while they're on a call. It's like, hey, I'm about to sell this. Like, can I even do this right here? And then I'll look at it like, I'll give them some my feedback like, you might be able to do this, or no, you can't do that. If you're gonna do that, whoever's gonna go out there is gonna be mad at you. So yeah, but I get feedback from them, and which helps a lot on the job.
Yeah, and you've seen your number of salespeople and comfort advisors over the years. What advice would you give to a comfort advisor out there for how to take care of your install crews, how to take care of your install leads?
One of the biggest thing is do the paperwork correctly. Yeah, whatever. Fill out the contract, the measure up sheets. Take good photos. If you do videos, that's good too. And then always, if you promise a client something, write it down. Because there's times, end of the day, it's like, oh yeah, so and so said you're gonna do this. It's like, I don't see that anywhere in my paperwork, and now I got to call back and forth. And then sometimes we can take care of it. Sometimes we have to go back for it.
Mm-hmm. And are there different salespeople that you've come across that are really good at that and really bad at that? And how does that make
the good ones?
Your job?
It's easy. We had some salesperson before. I remember this one job. The salesperson, it was a full split system. There's a AC and coil, but we have to pull the furnace, so it's pretty much two split systems and ductwork. There's four or five of us there. The client is like, you got to be done in one day, right? The sales guy said, you got to be done in one day. Like, what the heck? That's so much work. So I called my manager. It's like, hey, this client is saying we have to be done today. And this, I don't see how we're going to be done with just us. So that day, he made every crew call him first and call us if we need help. We get help. Our service and install manager came out to help. We end up with like 15, 16 guys and finished almost midnight to get it done. Because the next day he was gone. That client was going to be gone. That's why.
So that puts a ton of pressure on you.
It was like really stressful because like you're working, like there's still so much more to do.
And you're there till midnight.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so critical. The salespeople have such a important role in getting the installation leads and assistants home to their families at a good time.
Because with that salesperson not with us anymore, but anytime we get one of his job, we're just shaking our heads like, why are you selling this? It just makes our day so much harder. But midnight is not the latest I've been out.
Yeah.
I've been out till I think I was a new lead like that within the first month.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 systems and I was out to 2 a.m. Wow. Went home for 2 hours and went back to work again the next day. Never got it after midnight though. It was like, if it's gonna be late, I'm like, hey, we're gonna pull off. I'm not gonna stay out like that anymore.
Yeah.
But
yes. So what final message would you like to share for young technicians? You've already given them great advice about tools and stuff like that may be looking to make this a career. Like, what advice would you give the young 23, 24-year-old Washington?
If you can handle the work, you'll make good money working in this industry. I didn't think when I first started, my pay just every year started slowly going up and up, and now my pay is like, I never thought I would make this much working here. Try to learn whoever you're with. Try to learn as much that you can from them. Like they'll teach you. The better you get at it, the faster you get, the more the guys will want to work with you. If a guy see that you're gonna be a lazy type of person, a lot of them times they're not gonna want to work with you. They're not gonna want to help you. Always keep a positive attitude. There's gonna be late day or bad days and good days here, and on those bad days, just try to keep a positive attitude. You're gonna be there. It's like if you're gonna be working mad, it's not gonna help. So just try, to take your time and make it through the day. Yeah, because every house we go to, because we're doing residential, is always gonna be a different house. It's always, you're never gonna go back to the same job every day. Every day is something different. There was a job where I got to the house, we opened it up. I felt like throwing up. I felt like throwing up once the client opened the door. It's like, yeah, I'm so sorry. He even ripped out the carpet for us because of all the cat stains and stuff. He felt really bad. And that whole day, I had to wear a mask to work because if not, I'm throwing up. I'm looking outside the backyard. There's like 50 plus cats. I was like, are you okay? Yes. It took about 3 months to get the cat smell out of my car after that. And then speaking of cats, I think like last year, I'm working with the client, right, or doing the paperwork. We decided to sit down on a step in the living room. So, I'm going on the paperwork. There's a cat just coming by slowly. Okay, whatever. He got, as I'm doing the paperwork, it got closer and closer. And once it got closer, all of a sudden, it jumped and attacked me. Like, what the heck? And scratched my back. Like, oh my God.
Wow.
I was like, okay. But the client felt really bad. But yeah, lucky I had a long sleeve on and stuff. But yeah.
You never know what you're going to face, right?
Yep. It's like this little cat, too. Like, oh, man.
So, Wash, thank you.
Thank you.
Number one pick. I see why. I've seen it. You are very special. You've been very special. to this organization, to the industry. And I'm so thankful that your message is able to get out there to others, because you've helped so many people inside of Service Champions. And if there's somebody out there that you can touch inside of Wrench, that is incredible. And I know there is, and I know there are people out there that you're going to touch. You're going to touch because you've got a great story. Cool. You've built a career. You've built an incredible life as a lead installation technician. One of the things you said is keep learning, keep a positive attitude. And I love that. That was your final message to those young technicians that are looking to make this a career. The keep learning part is one of the things that I believe, which is always make your future bigger than your past. And you have demonstrated that for 20 years, which is always looking to be better today than I was yesterday. And that's the exact same thing and the exact same message that I send at the end of each of these shows, which is always make your future bigger than your past. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's to a bigger future. Thank you, Wash.
Thank you.